What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my backyard. I'm Dad, and today we're doing barbecue fried rice. I don't know about you guys, but I love Chinese takeout, and fried rice is probably one of my favorites. And it's also very easy to make at home. So today I'm gonna show you my way of doing it. Now, it's not gonna be a super authentic recipe. I'm going more of the barbecue direction with this, but feel free to adjust when you're making this at home, because like I said before, it is super easy to make, very customizable, so you can make it exactly how you like it. The ingredients for this recipe are super easy, and you probably have most of the stuff at home already. Main ingredient, of course, is our rice. The best rice to use at home when making fried rice is day-old cooked rice. The reason for that is the rice will dry out and you'll get a much better final product. Now, if you don't have day-old rice in your fridge, which you might not, cook up some fresh rice, spread it out on a small sheet pan or a plate, and pop this in the fridge for about an hour to cool it off and dry it out, and you're still gonna get a much better final product. For my protein, I'm going with boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Again, you can use any protein here that you'd like. You can also use any leftovers that you might have. Barbecue pork belly, steak, really anything here will work. I'm going with boneless, skinless chicken thighs because, well, they're super easy to make, super flavorful, and are gonna be delicious with this recipe. I've got a couple of eggs and a bag of frozen peas and carrots. And for my wet ingredients, I've got some soy sauce, sesame oil, Bachan's Japanese barbecue sauce, and I'm gonna season everything with my all-purpose barbecue rub. So it's just a few simple ingredients, but again, feel free to use whatever you have in your fridge, any leftovers you wanna use up, and this is a great way to feed a crowd or those picky eaters when you kind of substitute and use any other ingredients that you might have. We're gonna start on the chicken prep first. Let me move some of this out of the way. I like using these over chicken breasts because they're less likely to dry out and overcook, and they're just much more flavorful. I'm gonna start by cutting these up into smaller bite-sized pieces first. Just wanna keep them roughly the same size so they're gonna cook at the same time. Just do your best to cut them up. If you see any excess fat you want to trim off, feel free to do so. These have been trimmed off pretty well from the packaging, so I'm going to leave them as they are. Something like this is what you're going for. A little bite-sized piece. After your chicken is cubed up, I'm going to toss it in just a little bit of olive oil. This is going to help the seasoning stick, as well as it'll help it crust up on the griddle. And we'll hit it with a nice dose of my all-purpose seasoning. You can get some directly from our store, and this is going to be awesome on this chicken. Go with a little bit more. There we go. Besides the flavor, really love the color on my rub. You can see this nice kind of orangey reddish color, and it looks even better after it cooks. Chicken is seasoned up. I'm gonna put this back on my tray. Then we'll go out to the griddle and get this cooked up. The other nice thing about this fried rice recipe is that it comes together very quickly. It's gonna take about 10 minutes to cook this thing. We spent a couple minutes just prepping everything together, so you have a delicious meal under 20 minutes, and it's perfect for those busy weekdays, weeknights, weekends, whenever you're making this. There's never a bad time for fried rice. I'm gonna be making my fried rice outside on this 28-inch Weber griddle. I've had this thing for a couple months now and really love it. It's super easy to use, good build quality, price point is right, so let's get this thing fired up and we'll get the rice going. Gonna get this fired up and set for about medium heat or so and get this top preheated. You can also make the same recipe inside if you don't have a griddle or you don't want to cook it outside, but we all know that stuff cooked outside tastes much better than inside. But use a cast iron skillet or a big pan. Anything that can hold your rice and your veggies and the protein should work just fine. I'm gonna start by oiling up my griddle. Just go with a nice dose of oil. Spread this out. So this is gonna help everything brown up and fry up nicely, as well as prevent sticking. There we go. First up, we're gonna go with our rice. And then you wanna spread it out, make sure it's nice and flat. This is gonna help it fry up and crisp up on the bottom. There we go. One of the main things about fried rice, as the name suggests, is having the rice fried up. So always start with your rice over medium heat and really let it fry. Go for a couple minutes on each side. I'm gonna start mixing this up here in just a second, and then we're gonna add all the other ingredients. Rice has been on for about a minute or two. We're gonna give it a turn, and you can see it's already starting to brown up a little bit, which is what we're looking for. So give it a flip. Next, I'm gonna go in with my chicken. Since we're using the raw chicken thighs, you wanna make sure that these cook through fully before we mix everything up. And just like the rice, spread these guys out. We wanna develop a nice crust on all these pieces, so I'm gonna let them cook for just a few minutes, and then we'll give them a turn. Even with just the chicken and the rice, this is already smelling really good. Let's give the chicken a flip. Again, you wanna let it sear off for a couple minutes. That's where a lot of the flavor is going to build up and develop. So don't rush the flip, let them cook, brown up, and flip them when they are ready. Give the rice another flip. See that color is just developing, getting nice and crispy. That's really the key to a delicious fried rice. You gotta make sure your rice fries up, because otherwise it just gets all mushy and it's just not as tasty. Next up, I like to make a little space in the center. So just move your rice over, move the chicken over, add a bit more oil. And I'm going in with my frozen peas and carrots. And like the other two, spread them out a bit. It'll help them cook, crisp up a bit. Chicken is fully cooked. You have this nice crust on the outside. Veggies have softened up. Our rice is almost fried up. So now we can put everything together. So mix the rice with the veggies and the chicken. Put everything right in the center here. There we go. And as far as the quantity of everything, we did 2 cups of cooked rice, 1 bag of the frozen peas and carrots, and 1 package of the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Those, I think, 6 of them. So you don't need exact measurements for everything. Just pretty much 1 bag or 1 package of everything should do. And if you want more chicken, you can cook more. If you want less rice, you can adjust beforehand, but this is kind of what we're going with. Now we can start adding our wet or liquid ingredients. I'm going with soy sauce first. Just a nice little drizzle. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't really take away. So start slow and adjust as you cook. Sesame oil is next. This is a key ingredient, about the same amount as the soy sauce. Use this as a guide. It doesn't have to be exact the same way that I'm doing it. And finally, I'm gonna go with this Bachan's Japanese barbecue sauce. If you haven't tried it, it's really good. It's a nice mix of this kind of sweet and savory flavors, sort of similar to a teriyaki sauce. So again, we'll give it a nice little drizzle right on top. And mix everything together. And this is smelling so good right now. This is gonna be some good fried rice. And finally, we're gonna add our eggs. So I like to make a well right here in the center. I'm going with 3 eggs. Just crack these guys right here. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Let's scramble them up. There we go. Once you see them starting to firm up a bit, then we're going to incorporate it with the rice and mix everything up. The eggs cook super fast, that's why I add them at the very end, so they don't overcook. All right, let's mix everything up. Get this nicely incorporated. We got the eggs, the chicken, the rice. See, again, super easy to make, comes together in just a few minutes. You probably have most of these ingredients in your home already. And finally, before we pull this off the griddle, I'm gonna give it a taste test. Just get a spoonful of everything. Ooh, now we're gonna see if it needs anything else. It's really good. It's really good. I'm gonna add just a little bit of this Bachan's Japanese barbecue sauce. Stuff, again, is super flavorful, and it just goes so well with fried rice. And that's about it. And the last step, we're gonna add a handful of green onions. Mix this up. It's gonna give it just a little pop of flavor, a bit of color, freshness. Okay, I'm gonna cut the heat on the griddle. There we go. And plate up our delicious barbecue chicken fried rice. Ooh. Give this a whole bowl. This is more than enough to feed a family. Super easy to make. Not a lot of money to put this together. Couple ingredients. And get a bowl of deliciousness. Fried rice is ready. I garnish it with a little bit more of that green onion. And check this out. It is ready to go. A nice full bowl of delicious barbecue chicken fried rice. So let's try it out. Ooh. Just gonna make sure you get a little bit of everything. Some of the chicken, the veggies. It's a little sweet, a little spicy, savory. That rice has a nice little crunch to it from making sure that it gets fried up and doesn't get too mushy. Yeah, this is delicious. And as much as I like traditional takeout fried rice, adding a little bit of that barbecue flavor to it really makes it shine. You get that barbecue seasoning, which adds that sweetness, little savory flavors. The Japanese barbecue sauce brings it all together. This is really good and a fun way of making fried rice at home. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and let me know what you want to see me cook next.